Please welcome David, who's going to talk to us about the process for UAS flight plan approvals. Take it away.
Good morning. My name is David Marshall, and I'm at Humboldt State University. Next slide, please. I became interested in drones because I'm a pilot. And if you look closely at this picture, you can see the clouds that are in the background. And that's my airplane in the foreground. And when I come and land at the airport that we're looking at, I zip over the top of those clouds. So I'm going to show you about 25 seconds of video. Next slide. And if you could play the video for me. This video was sent to me by a prospective student who said, look at the amazing things I can do with my drone. And I looked at the metadata for this, and that was right where I zoom over the top of those clouds in my airplane at 180 miles an hour to land at that little airport. Next slide. So this is a video that got me to be very interested in this subject. And I don't mean to be hyperbolic with this, but if you wait to the end of the slide, boom, that's what you get if you're in an airplane going 180 miles an hour and you run into one of these things. So I am a great proponent for the technology, but my interest in not running into one is really heightened because I fly right where these are at. The clouds you saw in the first slide are on top of a hill. And if you fly your drone 500 or 600 feet above that hill, obviously it's illegal, and we all understand that you're supposed to stay in visual range and below 400 feet AGL. This is what could happen to me. So about the time I got enthusiastic, because of the video that was sent to me by a prospective student, the California State University system had some guidance that each university had to come up with a process for using drones in research. Next slide, please. The link here, which will be shared, is the entire set of documentation and motivation and process that Humboldt State University has developed. I'm the chair of the UAS advisory committee, and so I was instrumental in bringing this all forward. You have to follow these guidelines if you're going to publish with data that you've collected from a drone, regardless if you attained it through a grant or if you're flying a drone that you own. Next slide, please. To make this palatable, and I've got a more focused or zoomed in slide of this, we have a flow chart that students and faculty can use to decide where they sit in the laws and regulations around drone usage and their applications in education or research. Next slide, please. So this flow chart gives you yes and no options, and depending on what you're trying to accomplish, you'll end up in a situation where you'll be required to create what I've called a flight plan. It's really just a collection of all of the things necessary for the university to know what you're up to. So if something bad happens, we've all thought about it as an institution. And if there's any guidance that either the drone committee or myself as a pilot or others can bring to the table, we do prior to going into the field. One of the members of the committee is a retired Air Force B-52 pilot. And so, next slide, please. We asked people to understand where they're flying in relationship to aviation. And so we asked for a clip of the map, of the aviation map, and for you to outline where your flights are going to take place. Next slide, please. And you're going to answer a set of questions. That usually is submitted, it's reviewed by me or another pilot, and then it's asked to be changed, and then you're approved to go and fly your drone for research or for education purposes. If you're a student running your own equipment and you're doing this for a class, you don't have to do this. But if you're a faculty or a student doing this with university equipment, you have to do this. And that is, the next slide, I think my presentation. Yep, it is. Thank you very much for listening. I appreciate your time.